There you go. All right, I'm letting everybody in. Hi. Okay, you can hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, Tim, I'm ready on my end whenever you are.
All right. I move that we come back into session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're back in session. Have a question for Beth Johnson. Historically, is there evidence of a third pillar along that fence line?
No, not at that property.
I have, I think the board has some issues with trying to add something which I think the applicant is correct, would be difficult to match the existing pillars. With that in mind, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the certificate of appropriateness to uphold the certificate of appropriateness to install the gate at the property line, with the condition that they will work with staff for a transition, and whether that's a steel post or something that more in historic keeping minimizes the transition from the existing fence to the gate. And that we approve the certificate of appropriateness for the previously unapproved 6-foot electronic gate at the building line. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Mr. Zelasco?
Aye.
Mr. Weiss?
Yes.
Ms. Fitt-Dobbins?
Yes.
Ms. McKenzie?
Aye.
Mr. Sunderman?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Ms. Johnson, are you clear on what it was we were hoping that staff could work out here?
Yes, I'm just going to read my notes back just so I can be clear. So that the board upholds that they have to install a matching gate or fence at the property line. And then they will work with me to find some other option that staff can approve, such as like a metal pillar or metal pole or something.
Something
to
something
make
that
the transition.
provides that transition rather than emphasizes it with a new pillar.
Okay.
Okay?
Do that. Mhm.
All right. With that, we'll move on to item number 5, 40 East Court Street. Ms. Johnson?
Actually, this is Mr. Owen.
Oh, your name's on there.
Oh, this is 40 East Court Street,
We
right?
will be Mr. Owen.
Okay, sorry, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this application is for a zoning variance as well as a certificate of appropriateness to install new signage at 40 East Court Street. This is an existing building that is currently undergoing renovations, and there is a new ground floor tenant moving into the space that is the Mid-City Restaurant. This building has an existing pedestrian plaza on the east side of the building, and that will actually be the primary entrance for the restaurant. So the applicant is currently proposing some simple window signage on the front of the building that faces Court Street. That signage meets all the historic and zoning requirements. And then they would also then like to install wall signage along the east elevation of the building that faces that pedestrian courtyard. And that will basically provide wayfinding as well as advertising for the restaurant. So because that main entrance is on the side of the building, the applicant feels that is the most appropriate place for this kind of wall signage. The zoning code only allows wall signage on street frontage. So because this east elevation faces the pedestrian plaza rather than an actual street, it does require a locational and numerical variance to allow one wall sign on the east elevation. So staff does feel that the zoning relief is appropriate based on the fact that it is the main entrance to the building, and it will provide that wayfinding as well as identification that that signage typically does advertise. As far as the certificate of appropriateness is concerned, staff also feels that this does meet the guidelines. It's located above the first floor and it does not cover any architectural features. It is simple, a simple design that will not detract from the building itself. And it is generally in character with the district when you consider the surrounding signage on the Court Street, in the Court Street Historic District. We did have one member of the public attend the pre-hearing that had some concerns with the sign on this elevation, as her apartment is in the same building on that front portion of the building that has a window that looks out to this rear courtyard area. So the light from the sign will be visible through her bedroom window. And at the pre-hearing, the applicant did note that the sign would have the ability to be turned on and off during business hours. So, and they also noted that the original plans for the sign had a very bright whiteness level. I think it was around 6,000 Kelvin or whatever that is. So basically it would be a very stark light, and that was later revised to a warmer light that will not be as bright. So with that change, staff does feel that this sign would be appropriate. We are recommending a condition that the sign be turned off during non-business hours for the restaurant, so that that light won't be as obtrusive during the later evening and overnight hours. So staff does recommend approval of the locational and numerical variance to allow one wall sign on the east elevation per plans by ABC Signs dated 8/12/21, with the condition that the illuminated sign shall be turned off when the restaurant is not open to the public, and that we recommend that the certificate of appropriateness be approved for 40 East Court Street per the same plans, with the condition that the building permits be issued within 2 years of the decision date or the COA shall expire.
Thank you very much. And do we have an applicant who would like to speak?
I'm sorry, can you guys hear me now?
Can hear you now.
Okay, so
Ms. Meyer.
I'm sorry, oh yes,
Yeah. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes. Excuse me, so to reiterate a little bit, we did make some slight changes to help with that illumination, as that was a concern during that first pre-hearing. So we have actually updated the letters to be fabricated with black returns, as well as a black trim cap, which is going to really reduce the illumination from surrounding each letter. So that light is just going to be coming out that face, and we are actually going to do a translucent cream vinyl on the faces, so that by our estimation, it reduces the brightness of the light by about 30%. So we've done what we can to really try and address that concern.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions at this point for staff or the applicant from the board? All right. I have two other people signed up. Anna Barchuk Sutter,
Yes, I'm here.
raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. My commentary is brief. I'm representing 3CDC, which is the landlord, and we're supportive of this sign. I think Mike's space is unique in its entrance and will help, this signage will help him draw in customers and locate his business. So that's all I have to add.
Thank you. Mike Stankovich.
You can unmute for me. Do you solemnly swear do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. All I have to add is thank you for reviewing. I do think since our entrance is off to the side that it will help attract visitors. We tried to make the sign tasteful in accordance with, signage that would have been here, 40, 50 years ago. That's it. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board at this point? Questions?
Just a quick one. Did the neighbor get an opportunity to review the modifications that were made to the sign? Have they weighed in on that to the 3CDC or whoever?
She has not seen the revisions. They were made just toward the end of last week. My sense of her concern when we had the pre-hearing, it was a general concern, but I didn't get like a real urgency or deep concern. I do believe her unit is an Airbnb, and so it was like in consideration of potential guests there. But we have her contact and could, share it with her. I would also add, Mike can confirm, but his intent for the business is not to be a late hours bar. I think he has closing before midnight in his plan. So it wouldn't be, even on until that late.
Right. Ms. Johnson, was the time limitation, was that noted by the neighbor, or none of the accommodations of?
No, so her email was in the packet. Let me just pull that up real quick. She didn't necessarily say she would prefer it to be turned off starting at 10 p.m. was what she had stated in her email.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? I would entertain. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, we have no problem turning the sign off when we're closing. I do think it might help with safety while guests are leaving. We do not plan on being open. We're probably going to close around 10 p.m. We do not plan on staying open late, but we might have people leaving past 10 p.m. There is other exterior lighting that could help the way. I just think there might be on the same switch.
Okay. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve both the dimensional variance and the certificate of appropriate.
Second.
All right. Mr. Zelasco,
Aye.
Mr. Weiss,
Yes.
Ms. Smith-Dobbins, Ms. McKenzie.
Aye.
Mr. Sunderman.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Item number 5 is approved. Brings us to item number 6. Ms. Johnson, you or Mr. Owen?
Mr. Chairman, just for a second, I'm going to abstain from number 6.
All right. Just to recap, we do not have the COAs, so don't know that you need to stay on the call then.
I won't. Thanks.
Okay. All right. All right. We'll go short-staffed without Mr. Weiss. Ms. Johnson?
Yes, this one is me.
Okay.
Yes, I apologize. That was my mistake. I probably did not specify to Cassandra on that.
If that's the problem we have, other than my being 15 minutes late for the meeting,
Okay.
we'll be
So this is an application for 1684 Central Parkway, which is in the Over-the-Rhine Historic District. This is a new construction building. It's a multifamily 4-story residential building and related zoning relief, which is both a density and a conditional use. So this property is within the CCA zoning. The CCA zoning does not permit residential on the first floor. It does require a conditional use to have residential on the first floor rather than commercial. So they do need a conditional use for that. They also need a density variance within the CCA. They are permitted 1 unit per 700 square foot of land area. The proposed density is 312.5 square feet of land area for a unit count of 32 units. And so a variance is required. So this is located at the corner of Central Parkway and Finley Street. The property has 3 street frontages, Central Parkway, Finley, and Logan. The property is also almost, it's pretty square. And so the architectural front of the building does face Central Parkway. So the proposed condition is to build a 4-story multifamily building set to the corner of Central Parkway and Finley Street with 0 lot line developments on Central Parkway, Finley Street, and Logan Street. There will be a 10-foot easement that will be maintained between the proposed building and the existing building to the south. This will allow for dumpsters, egress, as well as maintenance of windows and air and ventilation to the existing and proposed buildings. The building will be a red-orange brick veneer building at floors 2 through 4, and a large dark brick building at the first floor. As I said, the main entrance will be on Central Parkway. In regards to the zoning relief, in regards to the conditional use for residential on the first floor, they are asking for a condition that others enjoy. The property just to the south, which is also in a CCA, is residential on all floors. The building then just south of Finley Street at the Film Center also has residential on the first floor. Also, they are, by allowing this to be just residential and not commercial on the first floor, they are then pushing more tenants in to the market area where we have the concentration and focus of commercial within this area. Also, and then regards to the density, they are asking for density that others have within the area. For example, the Welcome In project, which is a mixed income affordable housing infill development, has their densities range from 247 to 366 square feet of land area per unit. And I don't know if I had stated this, this is also an affordable housing project. All 32 units will be affordable housing. And so the unit count is also driven through the OHFA requirements for affordable units. And so that is also another major player in our support for a variance. In regards to the certificate of appropriateness, staff is supportive of the design and feels that the design does substantially conform to the historic district guidelines. In regards to the base middle top, the base is very, even though it's a residential, and residential bases tend to not have very well-defined bases compared to commercial structures. They do provide a very strong base by providing that kind of dark, heavier brick, which is reminiscent of kind of the large stone foundations that you do see on buildings within the district. The middle is defined by the orange brick area, and then the top is a very simple top with this white mass at the top, providing a terminus for the building. In regards to the window openings, the windows, while they do have some that are paired, that is something that you do find within buildings in Over-the-Rhine. The majority of the windows are 1/1. The windows are taller than they are wide. They are double hung windows, which is, or in the double hung window format, which is similar to the windows or matches the types of windows that are in the district. In regards to the setback, this is again a 0 outline setback. Having a slight break between the two buildings is appropriate for both building code wise, as well as to make sure that there are places to keep trash and other utilities and stuff off of the street. In regards to the rhythm, this building is a wide rhythm, around 99 to 100 feet wide along each street face. However, the rhythm has been provided and breaks up on the facade with vertical inset columns, as well as the vertical columns around the windows. In regards to vertical orientation, again, this is a building that is wider than it is tall. However, providing some of the insets that are provided on both sides of the Finley Street and the Central Parkway facades does help create more vertical orientation. And then again, the columns around the windows and the vertical oriented windows all create a strong sense of verticality. The building is only 4 stories tall. The building directly adjacent to the south is 5.5 stories tall. And the building to the north and Finley is 3 stories tall. So it is within the range of buildings being within a story of adjacent buildings. The buildings on this one are pretty straightforward and appropriate. The main material is a brick, using 2 different tones of brick to create some of that vertical emphasis, as well as breaking up with the rhythm. And then there is some wood laminate panels used as an accent material at the recesses. The burnished block used at the base, again, has a rougher texture and a visual composition that provides that stone-like quality that is seen with other bases in the historic district. So with this, staff does recommend the following: to approve the conditional use for residential on the first floor, and to approve a variance to allow a proposed density of 312.5 square feet of land area per unit for a total unit count of 32. Staff also does recommend approval of a certificate of appropriateness for new construction of a 4-story residential building per plans from New Republic dated 8/13/2021 for the property at 1684 Central Parkway, with the following conditions: that the building permit must be issued within 2 years or the COA will expire.
Thank you very much. Who do we have speaking on behalf of the applicant?
Hi, I'm Jennifer Walkie. I'm here representing the owner, and I'm joined by Kira Vajanovic with New Republic, the architect.
All right, if you would both raise your right hands.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
All right, what do you all have to add that Ms. Johnson has not told us?
Beth, thank you so much for your overview. Like Ms. Johnson said, the project will be funded using low-income housing tax credits, and the average median income will be around 60% AMI. So we're trying to increase workforce housing options in the neighborhood, as well as activate of currently vacant lots. So we appreciate your consideration of this request. Kira, is there anything you'd like to add?
I think that pretty much covers everything.
Okay. We have 3 others signed up. Graham Calbley.
Graham is not at the meeting
I'm
today,
sorry.
actually.
I see. Frank Russell.
Mr. Russell, could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Go ahead.
I'm representing the Over-The-Rhine Foundation. We support this project. We'll really want to thank Model Group for coming to us early. We engaged in conversations with them that I think they would have produced something great anyway. I'm not going to claim that we made it better, but the result is something that really meets a lot of our objectives. It looks like it is indeed meeting the current guidelines and would in fact meet our proposed guidelines. So really appreciate that. It fits the context. It's a little bit lower than it was before. So you can accept our enthusiastic approval. So I'm going to conclude my Over-The-Rhine Foundation representation, and just may I make a personal representation now, separate from Over-The-Rhine. My only observation here is that I think that the articulation of the accent brick on the facade and the way you design it to be proud of the face of the facade is an interesting approach. And I definitely read the verticality. It gives the building a lift to have those continuous vertical lines. So I think that you've succeeded in that. As we discuss things, in my own personal opinion here, you might want to reduce the contrast between the decorative brick and the background. It's a little bit jarring in terms of the two-tone representation and color, but that's strictly my personal subjective view. But otherwise, really appreciate what you've done. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Lemaster's words.
Good afternoon.
Hi. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Go ahead.
And I apologize. I'm gonna have to go off my video now because I'm not sure I'm gonna have good enough reception. But I am still here in voice. I am also representing the Over-the-Rhine Foundation, and I echo Frank's comments that we really appreciated Model's continuous engagement and outreach to us. They came to us early and often, so that's really very much appreciated. And as Frank said, we do in fact support this project. So I will now also just speak on a personal note. The only thing I would have to add outside of Frank's comments, which I agree with 100%, is the quality of the material of the base. I think it could be improved, especially on such a prominent corner in our district. It's really the entry into our district right there. And so, you know, something more like a stone veneer on the base would be very much valued. And that's all I would add. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. That's everybody we have signed up. Questions or comments from the board? Then I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve both the zoning relief and the certificate of appropriateness as laid out by staff.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Zelasco,
Aye.
Ms. Smith Dobbins,
Yes.
Ms. McKenzie, Ms. McKenzie,
Aye.
Mr. Sunderland.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Item number 6 is approved. All right, I understand we're not doing COA approvals today.
Yes, I will have those at the next meeting. The OPDA who runs the database, there was a glitch in the database and they only got me 3 entries. And I know I reviewed more than 3 permits over the month. So they reran it and they weren't able to get it to me until today. So I'll have that at the next meeting.
Okay, do we have any other business?
No.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Again, I apologize for being